But it couldn't handle your shit. I can tell it wasn't gonna work. She gon' spend it all on the purse. Her hair and toes done too. What has he done for you? I might just blow it all on you. I'm the one you call on to. Fall back and fall on you.
Okay, here's all the ingredients we're gonna need to get into the lasagna today. So we're gonna start out by putting the ground beef in the pan. And we just go ahead and ground all that up. Alright, and I'm going to use the same season that I always going to use. Most likely the same season y'all going to keep seeing all the time. The seasoning salt, onion powder, garlic powder. And then I use the garlic and herb seasoning when I'm making Italian dishes or seafood. It's like really good. Cajun seasoning because I like a little spice. And then the famous red rub. I'm telling you, we go with everything on any meat. And we just go ground all this together. So we go ahead and cook the Italian sausage separately. Put a little oil in the pan. And with the Italian sausage, it cooks differently from the ground beef. So you're not going to be able to ground the Italian sausage up until it's like almost cooked through. The more it cooked, the easier it gets. So right here, you see that it's cooking. Now it's easier to ground up. And I'm just crumbling it up to small pieces because you don't want big chunks. And I had water boiling for my lasagna noodles. And lasagna noodles are only going to take like 15 to 20 minutes. And I don't use the whole box. Probably like 10, 12 noodles. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. You just want them to look soft. And I'm going to set these to the side. And those little pieces in the water, that's meat from my spoon. So this is what the Italian sausage look like when it's done. And my ground beef is done. So I'm going to go ahead and drain the grease out of both meats. And now that I did that, I'm going to mix both meats together. And I'm just going to stir both of those together. The Italian sausage get a little extra flavor and spice. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and add a seasoning blend. You can chop your own onions and bell pepper up if you want, but I ain't got time for all that. So I love the seasoning blend bag, and it add a lot of flavor because they use herb seasonings in it. And I'm just picking out the pieces that I don't want in there. Alright, so I just started using this spaghetti seasoning for my lasagna. I usually just use it for my spaghetti, but it tastes so good in your lasagna. It's definitely a flavor that you want to add. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that together. Alright, so now all that's mixed together, I'm going to go ahead and start adding my sauce. And I used the full jar, the first one. And I'm going to mix that together. And this is what it's going to look like with just one jar of sauce. That's not saucy enough for me, so I'm going to use another half of a jar. And I'm going to mix that up. Alright, so now that's what it's going to look like. Alright, and now I have the noodles placed in my lasagna pan. I'm gonna start making the layers. So we're gonna put the meat on top of the noodles. You want to make sure you cover the noodles with the meat. You don't want to see no noodles at all. And you want to spread it through. Cover all the noodles. And you gonna use half and half of the meat that you made. Now that we got the meat together on, so we're gonna go ahead and add the provolone cheese. So everybody asks me, how do I get my cheese to be pulled like that? How it get so cheesy? The provolone cheese is the secret. You gotta get it. I can't believe I'm telling y'all my mama's secret. She gonna kill me. So now we gonna go ahead and add the shredded cheese on top of the provolone. Don't use the whole pack because you want to save some cheese for your second layer. And you can use whatever cheese you want. I just prefer the cheddar, the Kobe Jack, and the Italian. But you can use whatever cheese you want. It's going to cook the same. Just don't know if it's going to taste the same. Alright, so now that I got the cheese on there, I did the second layer off camera. And now I'm just adding Italian seasoning on top. This is what it looked like when it came out the oven. It took about 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. Now look, you're not supposed to cut when it first comes out of the oven because it's too hot. You have to let it sit and let it settle. But I didn't have time today. I had things to do. So I'm being hard-headed and I'm going ahead and go do it. Look at that cheese though. Y'all see that pool? That pool is crazy. Alright, so I'm going to show y'all why y'all not supposed to go right in when it come out the oven. So right now I'm attempting to get a slice out when it's still hot and not settled. Girl, your toes cute. Okay, so see how it's falling apart? Yeah, I couldn't do it. So I set it back in. This is like 5 minutes later. Still too hot. Supposed to let it sit for about 20 minutes. But I'm going to do it anyway because we don't got time. Look at that cheese pool though. Ooh, stop playing with me. Don't play with me. Play with your mama. Yes. And I'm just getting the rest of all the meat and noodles and cheese that fell out. Because they getting all that. Alright, so now I'm going to show y'all what it's supposed to look like when you let it cool down. It's supposed to come out solid, not falling apart, just in one piece. See? Coming whole, nothing falling, and it's still good. Yes. Check me out. Yes, y'all gonna have to try this. Y'all gonna love this. And look, I sell out every time.
Fall back and fall on line with it. Shawty ain't scared. Shawty ain't scared.